So a very special video today, because usually it's me waffling on, but today we've got Greg. So because Greg knows this car inside and out, and to be honest is just far more knowledgeable with regards to cars, he's going to be doing the majority of the talking, I think, if that's all right with you.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'll give it a go.
So explain what it is we've got then, Greg. So
yeah, this is a 2017 OG M2, so it's the pre-PPF, is it? Petrol particulate filter model.
Whatever you want to call it, yeah.
Yeah, so it's got the sort of louder standard exhaust and the analog dials, and some of those bits and pieces were changed after this model, I believe. But yeah, it's the one I wanted after having various E46 M3s over the years,
which we do like,
which I still love. But you know, when I had those when I was younger, they were sort of 9 or 10 years old. They were edit that bit out.
We're okay.
They were 9 or 10. They were 9 or 10 years old, and you know, 100,000 miles. I think the first M3 that I bought. So
yeah,
it was good, but you know, they were starting to get a little bit leggy. And I always thought, do you know what? It would be great one day to afford something like that, but a bit newer. You know, a bit newer and a bit fresher. And then as time went on, the M3 and then the M4 came out, and they were all getting very expensive. And I thought, blimey, I don't know whether I'm ever going to get there. But then the M2 was released, and really that's a similar size to the E46 M3. Yeah. Similar-ish power as well, and I thought, you know what, this could be it. And yeah, this one was about 4 years old, and I saw it come up locally and thought, do you know what, I'm gonna go for it. So
drove it, loved it, bought it.
Yeah, bought it at 17,000 miles on the clock when I bought it. It's done 36,000 now. So certainly got some use out of it. But yeah, it's brilliant. It's compared to the E46. I mean, you know, that S54 engine is, you know,
it's so good, isn't it?
It's so good.
It's
so
good.
You know, that's going to take some beating, isn't it? But
100%.
But you know, I would say in this car I can have like more fun more of the time.
Yeah, I understand.
think, you know, if I would love another E46 M3, but
I would.
As a garage queen, something to just use on the weekends. Whereas this, you know, with the turbo engine, all the torque, and it's just a lot nicer to drive day to day. You know, I drive it for work, I drive it for fun. We took it to the Nürburgring.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it just, you know,
fills a lot of shoes, doesn't it? It ticks
yeah,
a lot of boxes, this thing.
It does. So it's certainly no replacement for an E46 M3, but it is, you know, a good modern alternative for sure.
That's a fair way to put it, I think. And what are the specs of these M2s then? So for people that don't know, I guess.
What is it?
It's an N55 engine, isn't it? This one, because it's a non-comp. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's N55 engine. This one, I think it's 370, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, 370 horsepower. Which, do you know what, is, in my opinion, plenty for a rear-wheel drive car this sort of size. I mean, I know a lot of people modify them, and similar with the, you know, the 140s and the 135s.
Yeah.
But for me, 370 horsepower in this is just sort of all year round fun.
Yeah,
you know?
it's usable, isn't it? You can actually use it.
Yeah, even when it's wet, you know, you can still give it some, and it's not going to be sliding all over the place.
Yeah, that's fair. That's important.
Tyres, I think, play a big part in that. When I bought this, it had the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's on, which are absolutely brilliant. The two back ones wore out recently, and I did some research online. I was going to buy the Michelins again, and then I saw the Continental Sport Contact 7 had come out, and that had a lot of good reviews. I think it had an Evo, you know, won one of the Evo tests recently, so I thought I'd give those a go.
Yeah, fine.
And yeah, to be honest, they seem really, really good. They're a bit cheaper than the Michelin as well, so I've only had them on there probably about 500 miles or so far.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
It's still on the road.
Yeah, this is it. So I think they're probably a little bit louder. Maybe there's perhaps a little bit more road noise with these, but yeah, rain, dry, they seem brilliant to be fair.
Just works all year round.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Well, that's good. It's like the inside of these things, because I always get into arguments with people about the insides, but I like, because interiors BMWs controversial, aren't they? I guess some people call them boring. I think they're very well placed and functional.
Yeah.
I like the interior of the M2. I do. It's a nice place to be. I think the carbon effect finish is really nice. The iDrive system's really easy to use. Everything's so accessible.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people get caught up with is that it's not too dissimilar to what you would find in a normal 2 Series. So, like, you know,
That's right.
you could put it next to a 218, you know, M Sport, and inside, yeah, it probably isn't that much difference. But that's always been the same with BMWs. You know,
Well,
it was the same with the E46 M3. Really,
Well,
slightly different
you could
seats.
still say it's relative to that setup anyway. It hasn't changed a lot, has it? Like, it's very E46y inside anyway. Like,
well, yeah, everything's sort of just a finger touch away.
Which I love.
And I prefer the fact that it's got buttons as opposed to
So do I.
as opposed to touchscreen.
Oh, so do I.
We've got a Volkswagen Tiguan as a family car, and the interface on that, you know, you're trying to press the buttons on all the sat nav, and while you're moving along and jigging around,
It's
and
impossible.
it's really difficult.
Yeah.
Whereas this, with the sort of, you know, with the iDrive and everything, it's really good. It works well.
I agree. Yes, the one thing I want to pick up on is I agree that I think the E46 M3, I think as much as it's one of the best M cars, I think it's one of the best looking M cars as well. And I think that was a really sort of, I can't think of the way to phrase it, it was going to be hard to top that.
Oh yeah,
for BMW,
sure.
and I don't think they did it with the E92 as much as I think it's a good looking car, but I think this is styled really, really well.
Yeah, definitely. I think these are great looking cars. I mean,
They are.
You know, not to take anything away from the E46, but, you know, like I said before, as a modern alternative, I mean, it's got the sort of bulging arches that you want, and
it's aggressive in the front. Everything looks. It's a striking looking car. It is. It's like you say. I always say it's wide in the right places, sleek in the right places, sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, I think it definitely looks the part. I mean,
and the quad tips.
Yeah, when I bought it, it had the standard wheels on it, the diamond cut ones. And
yeah, because these are different, obviously.
Yeah, so I've replaced those. So I've got the M Performance wheels on it now.
Awesome looking car. The tips I think the tips look fine on the normal M2 anyway. I do think they need to look a bit better than what they give you as standard, which is what you've changed them, haven't you?
Yeah, I've replaced them. Yeah, these were.
I think they're perfect. What you've done.
I can't remember what make they are now, but they were from America. I think I ordered them through. I can't remember now where I ordered them from, but they are billet aluminium tailpipes, and yeah, they look all good. If truth be told, I think I probably wish I'd bought black ones now.
Do you?
Yeah.
See, I disagree.
But yeah, the standard chrome ones, they're just a bit small, really. They don't really sort of fit the rest of the car.
No, I think they're a bit weak considering the rest of the car is very it's very in your face, isn't it? I guess in a way,
Well, a lot of people put the carbon tips on, but
yeah,
I've never really been a fan of the carbon
tipped exhaust,
tailpipes, to be honest. So that's why I was looking for something a bit different. And at the time, there wasn't many options. I think there probably is now.
What is it like, Greg, to own this car?
I just think they're a great all-rounder. You know, you can quite easily poodle around in it. I know some people say that, you know, the suspension's quite harsh, but I don't know. I suppose I've had similar cars. It's not. You know, it's not something that I notice really.
I can say,
you know, it's a hard ride, but it doesn't seem unnecessarily hard, does it?
No, definitely not. And I'll say really quickly, can you say it's not? Yeah, I drive an M140 daily, and the suspension in this, in comparison to the M140, this is smoother.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I've only driven a 140 a few times, but
it's terribly bouncy.
But
this is I think this is really comfy. It's not backbreaking at all. It's not jittery. You don't go over an uneven road or a pothole, you know, gritting your teeth, waiting for your fillings to pop out.
Yeah, it's been a great daily. I mean, I think it averages like high 20s, which is about what you'd expect. But on a motorway run, you can see over 30, which is certainly something I don't think I ever managed, you know, out of some of the older M3s I've had.
No, agree. You wouldn't see it in the V8, would you? You wouldn't get it in the E90s.
Oh, certainly not. No. I mean, I did have the E60 M5 for a while, and that was a lovely car, but terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible.
I know what you mean. The RS5 was the same.
That was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it is a great all-round car. I mean, obviously, you know, some people prefer the Audis and the Golfs for the four-wheel drive system, don't they? But you know, I've been kind of brought up with rear-wheel drive cars, and I've had many BMWs, all of which have been rear-wheel drive. So I guess I'm just, you know, I'm used to it. I mean, you know, you don't go too crazy in the rain, you know, but
you respect it. You understand what you got.
Yeah, you respect it, but not to say that it's particularly sketchy in the wet.
No,
as I said before, it's actually pretty good. But you know, would an Audi RS3 run away from it in the wet? Yes,
probably.
It would 100%. It'd be gone, wouldn't it? It'd be completely gone. But you know, does that
drives
matter?
like that? Yeah, who goes hell for leather in the wet all the time? Yeah, if that's the only claim to fame, then I think it's a sad one.
And yeah, it's a practical car as well. You know, as you can see, there's the
baby seat in the back.
Yeah, kid seat in the back. The boot's big, so it's been really practical, and we can use it for almost anything. You know, other than perhaps going on holiday, you know, we'll take the other car for that. But
yeah, and Jack might have something to say about us stuffing him in the back for the Nürburgring trip.
Well, this is it. Yeah, I suppose for an adult in the back, it might perhaps not the best. But you know, for this sort of size car,
you don't buy them to fit families of four in, do you?
Not really, no. But it's just a bonus that, you know, you can get kids in the back and whatnot.
Whereas something like a Cayman, you can.
No, this is it. Yeah, I mean, I said before that I'd sort of struggled to think of a car that I'd like to replace this with. I mean, if money was no object, I do like the Cayman. You know, I think they're a great car. I think the GT4 looks particularly interesting, but they're, you know, twice the money for a good one, and they've only got 2 seats. So yeah, I think I'll keep this one to the end. Like I said, I bought it on a PCP, 4-year PCP. Like I say, it was 30 grand. I think the guaranteed future value on it was 18. So
18.
In just over a year's time, that time will come when I kind of need to decide whether I want to pay that 18,000 to keep it or want to move it on. But I mean, at the moment, I think I'd you know, pay the 18 grand and just keep hold of it.
Oh Jesus, it would make sense to do that, wouldn't it?
I think so.
You won't buy one for 18 grand.
Well, no, this is it. Yeah.
So what would you summarise as the pros and cons for this car for people looking to potentially buy one?
Well, I mean, the pros are certainly that it's for me, it's been a great daily driver. Like I said, you can, you know, tool to the shops in it, but you can also take it to the Nürburgring track days. You know, that I think they're pretty good out the box.
So good out the box.
If you do want to use it for track, you know, there are some things that you might want to think about doing. I know a lot of people, you know, play around with the suspension and whatnot. I think so. Yeah. But I mean, this one, it's not really seen a lot of track time, so I haven't really got much to go on, or you know, we haven't really tested it out. I mean, we've been to the Nürburgring, but it was on a tourist day. There was hundreds of cars on the track.
Yeah, and Jesus.
I was, you know,
that isn't the place to.
Not really. It was a bit of fun, wasn't
Pop
it?
your track day cherry, is it?
No, not in it.
Tourist drive on the Nürburgring in your pride and joy. Wouldn't recommend it.
No, it was a bit of fun, but
yeah, you got to go round.
It wasn't. It was fun, but I think I enjoyed it more the time we went before. At the time I had
E46?
E46 M3 Evolution, which I don't know what that car owed me at the time, 8 or 9 grand probably.
Yeah, okay.
And I think I had a bit more fun in that, because that is a horrific amount of money to lose if it does all go wrong.
You wouldn't want to drop it on a Friday night.
But you know, this is just a bit too much. Yeah. You know, if anything happened to this car on the Nürburgring, I'd be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, so there might be things that you want to do as far as that's concerned, but pros are just great great daily driver. You know, relatively economical for what it is. Not expensive to run, actually.
Yeah, because that's a fear, isn't it? The M tax.
Yeah, well, I suppose that's one benefit of, probably one of the reasons that people look down on the M2 is the N55 engine, so it's not the, you know, the S.
Yeah, an S variant.
Variant, like motorsport engine. But the benefits of that are the servicing is really cheap. You know, it's no different to any other BMW, really.
That's really important, yeah.
So the running costs for me have been not too bad. The tyres are obviously expensive because they're wide. What else is there as far as running costs?
The brakes, big old brakes, aren't they?
The brakes are big, yeah. The brakes are going to cost some money when it comes to replacing them. I've not had to do that yet. But if they're anything like previous BMWs I've had, they're a lot of money, but they are absolutely nothing compared to some of the rivals.
Oh, I can tell you that for a fact.
Yeah. Audi, one that sticks out to me. I mean,
sticks out to me. I still lose sleep over it. I think my main drawback for this car, I would say, and granted I don't own it, and even cars like this, it's not actually the car, it's the roads.
Yeah.
It saddens me, it literally upsets me if I'm driving a car like this and I can't do anything close to what it's capable of doing because there's just not the facility to do it on the British roads, and there's too many cars, they're too tight, traffic's too hard, the roads are too poor.
That is true.
It's such an enjoyable and capable car if you've got the freedom and the surroundings to do it.
Yeah, no, that is true. Yeah. If you ask me how many chances I have to actually kind of stretch its legs and enjoy it, it's probably not that often.
That's what I mean. I borrowed the Cayman, it was the same, loved it.
Yeah.
But I thought, I want to go here, this is a good road, and then before you know it, you're behind somewhere or...
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I pop across to your house once a week, and there's some down the Avesbury Road. That's a nice road.
It is. Yeah.
But even still, you're still not going to get anywhere near, what the car can actually do.
I think if you have if it's the dead of night, you got more freedom. But if we were in, I don't know, a different country with different surroundings, that you had a bit more freedom to just not go 150 mile an hour everywhere, but play with a few of the gears, put it into some nice tighties and twisties, then I just think it would make it so much more reassuring as to why you've spent the money and bought the car.
Yeah, no, that is true. I mean, when you buy a car like this, there's a bit of man maths that goes into it.
Yeah, it's always full of man maths, isn't it? And it's money. If you've got FU money, then fair play to you. Just buy them anyway. Who cares?
But no, I do know what you mean, and it's not it's certainly not the most sensible thing in the world, is it? Really, it'd be your money would definitely be safer spent elsewhere. But when you're a car enthusiast and like
that's what's key to remember.
Like I am a bit of a BMW in particular fanatic. You kind of...
something's going to happen, isn't it?
You forget about that.
Yeah, of course you do. Something's got to happen. You've got to have some of that.
It seems like a good idea at the time, but no, I am chuffed with this car, and you only live once, don't you? So
definitely, yeah.
You may as well enjoy it.
And the only other con I could think of was that when it's in the odd less than handful of days a year that we get it, if there's any sort of build up on the road in terms of snow, BMWs are rendered next to useless.
Oh, this is it. I mean, today's actually quite a greasy day, and just while we've been out and about, we've certainly seen the traction control light flash a few times.
She has reared her head, yeah.
So, that could be a downside. Like we talked before about, some people prefer the safety of a four-wheel drive system, and I guess just being able to push it harder more of the time.
Yeah.
But for me, that's not what this particular car was about. I mean, I'm lucky enough that I've got other cars, some of which are automatic. So, but they, that suits those particular cars. Like the RS6 is an auto; they were only available as automatics, weren't they? And actually, would I even want that one to be a manual? Probably not. But it's a big old barge, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. I think it's different. If you buy a car like this, I don't get how you would get a car that does it all.
No.
super fun and dialed in and proper engaging on the twisties and stuff like that, but at the same time can settle into a very gentle and easy, lazy and effortless daily driver. I don't think you can tick all them boxes to 100%. You've got to be flexible somewhere, and I think it's about who you are and what you want in terms of where on that scale you judge your flexibilities are.
Yeah, this is it. And so for me, there's not a huge amount of drawbacks for me, just based on what I bought this car to do. It does it all and more. It is that sort of modern M car that I wanted. So yeah, other people, I'm sure, would be able to pick more faults in it.
Possibly, yeah.
I'm sure they would.
I
guess the other thing is the modern sort of turbo engines. They don't sound or feel the same as some of the older BMW M cars. Like that.
Nothing as raw as that S54.
Exactly, the noise you get from that, and also the E60 M5 that I had. They were.
Oh, they sing, don't they? Yeah.
They were sort of another level. Whereas this is sort of I guess it's a more kind of generic engine, really. But it sounds great. Doesn't it?
Sounds awesome.
It sounds good. Goes well. Plenty of power, plenty of torque. What more could you want, really?
Yeah, I think it does everything ever so well.
I've got the blinkers on somewhat because, as you know, I just tend to stick to the BMWs, really. So I haven't really compared it.
That's all I would say. If you are looking to spend this sort of money, you'll get an A45. An RS3 will definitely be more money. But I think if you can. Yeah, for me, if you compare them all, which I genuinely have, there was a point in time where I was looking at buying a CLA 45, there was a point in time where I was looking at buying an RS3, and there was a point in time where I was looking at buying an M2. Funnily enough, I bought none.
Yeah.
I didn't actually end up buying any of them. It was a budget thing for me, I'll be completely upfront honest. I couldn't afford any of them in the end. To tell a lie, the A45 or the CLA 45 I could have bought, but do you know what? For the money, it was really disappointing for me, that car. It really was. It lacked something. I felt like the four pots struggled. Like you really needed to work that car. It didn't feel like it had the build quality. It didn't feel like it had the drivability and dynamics of something like this. So it was an easy one for me to rule out. And the RS3, when I looked at it just the money. It was just the money. I actually ordered, if you remember, I actually put an order in for an M2 comp.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
Yeah. But I cancelled it because I couldn't get my RS5.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Depreciation on
Depreciation killed me in that RS5. I even bought it sensibly, like I bought it really well.
Yeah.
It does sound great, doesn't it? It does just feel so planted and comfortable at speeds from my perspective. About yours?
I think the diff helps a lot. From the times I've driven the 140i without the limited slip diff. I mean, they spend quite a lot of the time going out the road sideways, don't they? Whereas this seems to track pretty straight and true, really.
And I said it in the video I did of the M140 that the way the car's engineered, it gives you excellent feedback and talks to you about where it's struggling, where the grip is, what sort of how much input it wants and needs, and you can drive the car off the steering, off the throttle. You can have some good, comfortable fun in these cars and not feel disjointed from it. Whereas the more you get into the M140, I'm not trying to make the direct comparison, but it's, if people are interested, that's where a lot of it is, I think. When you're trying to get into it and have a bit of fun with it, the harder you go and the more fun you try and have, the more disconnected you get.
Yeah, so one of the things we haven't touched on that I've done on this car as well is when it was due its MOT last year, they noticed that it had a slight weep on the diff, which surprised me a little bit, to be honest, with about just over 30,000 miles on the clock, I think it was. The diff was actually leaking a little bit, but what it did mean was it gave me the opportunity to upgrade the bushes on the diff.
Yeah, it's
because
a big thing,
similar to I think the E46 and some of the other M cars, the diff was only mounted on one side,
Right, okay.
Which doesn't,
Didn't know that.
Yeah, which doesn't sound entirely sensible, does it? And I
Doesn't actually,
I think
yeah.
on the E46s that might have been one of the reasons why they, they
Tore
struggled
through the floor and stuff.
Well, they struggled a bit with that. So Powerflex do a conversion kit where you can mount it on both sides, so it's symmetrically mounted.
Perfect.
So while it was out, I got that kit, and our friend at Ball Motorwork and fitted that, so the diff's mounted a lot more securely now. And I don't know if it's just in my head or not, but
A bit placebo,
perhaps, yeah. But when I'm driving it hard, I don't know whether I feel like I can feel that. I can feel that difference. That it feels a bit more solid. Whether or not that's a bit of a placebo effect, it could well be. But it's nice to know it's been done nonetheless.
100%. Summary is the M2's a banging car. Absolutely love it. Proper rate this car, I do. Can't think of much else that would compete with it in terms of betterment. I can't think what else you'd buy for the money or anywhere near it to get something better. You said rightfully you could get something like a 235i, spend a bit of money on it and get a similar drive from it in terms of its handling characteristics, I think, but then you still miss out on things like the styling, bits of the interior, the actual engine, and you miss the all-important M badge.
Wow. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, and by the time you've done those things, are you going to see that money again?
Never.
Or, would you have been better off buying the M2 in the first place?
I think you'd probably I think you'd be better off buying the M2 in the first place.
I think so, yeah, potentially.
I think we'll call it a day there then. I'll say thanks very much. If you're watching, please do leave a like because it really helps the video out. If you enjoyed, we welcome your comments, positive or negative. We're more than happy to learn, get some positive feedback so that we can make the videos better going forward. If you want to see more, then subscribe. Upcoming soon, we've got, we're going to do the RS6, we're going to do the M140 back-to-back against the M2, just see what that sort of looks like in a pool of comparison. And Luke has been forthcoming with his E46 M3 Silverstone. He's going to let me get hold of that, so we'll do that as well and maybe compare. I'd love to do a string of M models really and compare things like the E46 to the E92, to the M2, to the 1M and stuff like that. So maybe one day we'll be able to do that for you as well. But yes, in summary, thank you very much for watching and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.